Good afternoon, it's Michael here from Michael's Card Art. It's Monday afternoon, the 4th of March, and it's time for a new card. And I was sitting here pondering what I was going to do today, although I know that I've got a couple of catch-up cards that I need to do a video on. But I was brought back to my childhood, boarding school days, and something triggered in me the sound, an expression that I used to hear, and it wasn't a derogatory expression, but it certainly wasn't complimentary, with peers describing someone as being so beige. And so beige was a term that was colourless, was it just sort of reeked of somebody not having a lot of colour and movement about them, if I can use that term. Well, let me tell you, what was that derogatory term, they're so beige, or it's so beige. I think beige has found its new calling, because I'm going to show you a couple of cards that I've made, and they rely heavily on beige. It's such a nice colour that it works so well with so many different stamps and dies. It adds a softness, it has a class of its own. White is quite stark. It certainly has a place in card craft. And black is great from a contrast to white. But brown is one of those colours that you can add to your card that will give it, it will just make it pop, is probably what I'm looking for. And let me quickly get on and show you what I mean. So these are a couple of cards that I've made just recently. Beige background, white elements. All of the elements are white, and I've just coloured them. And the background is beige. And this one here has been embossed in the timber embossing folder. But with the brown, with the beige, it just is, I think it works so well. I've got to finish this card off here. But how the colours pop, I think it's brilliant. I did another version of that, but just in yellow. Let me just grab that for you, if I can. I've framed this one simply because somebody has bought it and wanted it framed. So, and what I've done, I realised that when I put this together, I put the flower in a slightly different angle than it should be. But here's that same card, one purple, one yellow. And the beige just works brilliantly with it. And it's offset, in this case, it's offset with pecan pie. So we're going to play with beige today. And we're going to show you how you can be brave with your colours. Because beige is a colour, if I can say, like most browns, and beige being in that family, is a colour that you use to make things pop. It gives you contrast to everything else. So here in this example, you've got pecan pie border, you've got dark blue, light blue, some good greens, and you've got beige, and it just works so well, I believe. So I'm going to show you how to make, I'll show you how to make both of them, but there'll be two separate videos. So the video today is going to focus on standalone flower dies. And what I mean by that, and we've all got a stack of flower dies in our stash, I'm sure. And a lot of these flower dies, for beginners especially, they find it difficult to know what to do with a single standalone flower die. And I know that I used to have quite a few of them, and I still do. And they sat there by themselves for quite some time because I just wasn't brave enough or aware enough of what to do with them. So today we're going to look at standalone flowers and how to bring those together in a dynamic sort of environment. And I do want to say, if you're going to play with standalone flowers, you do need to have within your stash some really nice dies to offset that standalone flower die. So in this example, I've used these long, thin, reedy things. And it just works very well. And along with the element here of the gold thread. So these are the things that I think every crafter should have a couple of within their stash. And I call these my accessories in the to florals. Sorry, I've just had a cup of coffee and it's I think I burnt my mouth gulping it down before I did this video. But here you've got some florals and they've got these gorgeous little flower buds that you just attach onto the florals to give you a bit more color and movement, if you like. So I think every crafter needs to have something of this sort in their stash. Here's another example of what I think is a good asset to have. Look at these little florals here. If you can get yourself something like that, these work great as foreground or background elements. Here's parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And I use these ones for that card I just showed you. But these are excellent accessories for standalone flower dies. Here's another example of what you should have. I think deep veined leaves are an asset to your stash as well. These you can color up in any way, shape or form. And green doesn't have to be the color of all these things. You can see here I've got green, but I've also got brown on the leaves. Different, it works. You know, blue buds, it's difficult to always get a good flower in blue because blue apparently is one of nature's hardest colors to mimic, I suppose. But with the beige, it just works and it pops. And here I've got some reeds and little hyacinth buds as my complementary elements, if you like. A fence. I think a fence is essential to have in your stash. I've got 4 of them. There's one in another project that I've got there. But little fences like this, you can cut them up. They can be great foreground or background elements. So look for a fence to add to your collection. And also, these sort of things, these don't have any additional flowers added to them, but they're great as standalone pieces that will support or enhance your standalone florals. Here's one I use a lot. In fact, I use all of these quite a bit. But they're just great fallback and complementary dies for your stash. And I think that's it. I think that's a bit of an intro into what I deem to be critical elements to add to your stash if you don't already have them. Okay, with that said, let's move on. Now, what I've done is I've cut out this particular standalone floral die. So what I'm going to do is, it won't be a long video because what I will do, I will show you how I color 1 or 2 of these items, and then I'll cut that and finish off the coloring process, and then I'll move on to the next element and color that, or start the coloring and then finish that off offline. That way it's fast-paced and I've got a stack of things I've got to get through tonight. But I do want to give you this video and get that up online. So let's get started. Now I'm going to say, for this particular floral die, I'm going to get rid of these leaves because we don't need them. And not in that state anyway. They just look a bit odd when the other leaves are looking like this, the deep veined ones. So I'm throwing that out. And what we'll do, if I use this, come back here, we're going to use 2 colors in our florals for this plant, just because we can add some texture and color to it. You'll notice here for the standalone, for the complementary elements, you can see what I've done. I've colored it using a brown and also picking up some tones from the major flowers in that complementary piece. So I'll show you how I did that, and we'll color the leaves likewise. All right. So I've done this one in a purple, and I've done it in an orangey mango sort of color. So let's go with a pink, I suppose. Didn't think much about this one. So let's go with pink. I'm going to use, in this case, a Rococo Rose, which I think is a fabulous pink. And I'll complement that with Do I want pretty in pink, or I want something, actually, I'm going to use petal pink. Petal pink is quite an unusual colour, or an unusual pink. I'm just going to grab a piece of cardstock and see how those two work together. I haven't done these colours in a blend before. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, so if we use this as our main colour, or the deeper of the two colours, and I bring in some petal pink, let's just see how that looks. The petal pink has kind of a bit more brown in it. I think it's nice. It'll be a nice combination. All right, so how did I colour the blossoms? Well, this is it. It's as simple as it needs to be, or this is as difficult as it needs to be. I get my dauber, and I'm starting in the centre of the in the stamen area, and I'm pushing out. I don't want to go out too far because I've got the petal pink to add to it. But there you go. That's as easy it is. It's just a couple of hits and moving out. All right, from that central point. Let me just do that again. Okay, so your landing spot is the stamen area, and you're just pushing out. I did a class the other day up in a little Victorian country town about 5 hours west of where I live in Melbourne. It's a little town called Dimboola. And Dimboola doesn't have a lot of people, about 800 I think it is. And it has 800 people, and it has 20 or so avid crafters in the middle of nowhere. The countryside is as mountainous as this glasscraft mat. It's as hot as Haiti in the summer and as cold as, I don't know, the freezer in winter. But therein resides some of the most charming crafters that I've ever had the pleasure to meet and to talk with and to run a class with. They were very good, very hungry for ideas and information. It was a pleasure. And why did I start talking about our friends in Dimboola? Oh, yes. And so I was asking them what's their preferred modus operandi for colouring cardstock. And the answer came back a definite: blending brushes. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was alcohol markers. They like alcohol markers. And I said, what about daubers, which is what we're doing now? And it didn't rate. It wasn't something that they liked or felt confident doing. And for me, it's my preferred colouring tool. I just love the softness that it gives you. And look at this. Isn't that a great combination? And it works so well. And it's easy, easy, easy to apply. So all I'm doing with that now with the petal pink is I start as far out as I want to, and then I bring that back in. And by doing it that way, you're allowing the colours, you're re-wetting the first colour that you applied, and you're allowing the second colour to, which is also wet, to start to swim together. That is looking fabulous. Okay, so starting out and bringing it back into the centre. And look at that softness. There's no distinct line now between the two colours. They just blend seamlessly. Sorry, gasp of air as I bent my petal. That, I think, is a great combination. I'm going to be using that quite a bit more now. Okay, that's how I've done the petals on this. And if you don't have this die set, this is called blooming. What are those? Lotus, blooming lotus is the name of this die set. If you don't have this one though, don't stress, because this is all about using a standalone floral on beige. Oh, I like it very much. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve these as we go and just show you my technique for bending and shaping and giving flowers some texture. So all I'm doing is I'm grabbing in the center and I'm stretching the leaf out. So I get a nice little bend like that. So just do that with all 4 leaves. Hold it a little bit out on the stem actually, just to protect the integrity of the cardstock, so you don't do what I've just about done, where you rip off one of the florals, the petals. Okay, so let's just bend these ones out. There we go. And the last one here. All right, so nothing dramatic. It's not too stretched or overworked. And this is our soft scented one. Will go in the middle. And it's just a very simple little flick of those petals. And then it gets glued into place when I'm ready. I'll just put that over there. And what I'll do is, there's my dauber. I'll make this a dark. There we go. And then that can go down onto the stamen area for that flower. Okay. Fabulous. All right, I'll glue those together. And, oh, I forgot this little piece. So this here is just that, it's a newly formed bud, and it will sit up here on this part of the stem. This little bud, once again, we need those, that's my, yeah, there we go. All right, and starting at the base, where we want it to be the darkest, and there we go there. All right, now the petal pink. It doesn't need a lot of color, it just needs enough that you can, okay, that you can definitely see what color combination you're using. So just enough color to provide that. All right, now that will actually, let's, oh no, just put that together because I do need to shape that one a bit too. All right, now we've got our stem. I'm going to use a mossy meadow, which is a dark brownish color. Let's put that there. Now let's get a dauber for, put this away. Cocoa rose. And a little bit. So the greens that I'm going to use for this project are greens. I'm going to use, where is it? Oh, here it is. Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, and I think I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. Why? Because I just want to see what that combination looks like with this gorgeous two-tone pink. So I'm going to use this colour the stems, and it's going to be in that Mossy Meadow. Okay, here we go. So very randomly, oh, I suppose not randomly really, but we just need to get some colour onto this. And what I like about the dauber is see how you can create this border effect on the element just by brushing some ink onto the hard parts of the body, if you like. All right, now I just get this green here, and I need a piece of cardstock. This will do, because what I need to do now is colour this without damaging them. Alright. Now, I'm just going to touch these with the alright. Now, I'm going to do a brown. It's probably just as easy if I do this myself. Okay, pecan pie. And here is pecan pie 2. There we go. Okay, so the green and the brown, and the brown is really just another way of capturing that light and dark that you see on foliage and plants of during the day and also in the evening. All right. Now I will just colour up one or two of these leaves, and I'll show you what I mean here. So I've got my green. Now with this, what I do is I'm giving it a good polish of green, just holding it like that, and so that the bend of the leaf is sitting on my forefinger. Let's just do these two, and then what I'll do is I'll get finish those off, and I'll come back to you with the finished product on the leaves. Now I've got, so we've coloured the flower, I've coloured the leaves. I put, and apologies for this as the camera went off, I put our mossy meadow, which is the darker green. I matched that with some pecan pie, and which are the browner parts here, and then I topped it off with a very light coating of granny apple green, which is this sort of colour. It does sound a bit bizarre, but I like it very much, and so that's what it kind of looks like so far. So what I want to do now, I just want to show you how I coloured these, and then we can move on to the assembly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this with brown pecan pie, for example, and mix that with some Rococo Rose and use that colouring. So I'll show you what I mean. Just grab 2 daubers with my pecan pie. Actually, I might change what I was saying from pecan pie. I might use a darker one, soft suede. So let's see what that looks like. All right. No, let's not forget these 2 pieces over here. Okay, they've got to be attached. All right, so we've got our soft suede. Load up the dauber. I'll start down the base here, leaving some intermittent gaps. Okay, so it looks a bit like that at the moment. 2 pieces. So let's, there we go. And just giving it a nice, see what can happen if one gets a little enthusiastic. Okay, that'll do. Now, what did I say? Rococo Rose. And here it is. All right, and here we don't want to overdo it. We just want a hint of pink in there, of this Rococo Rose, just a little hint, and then we'll blend that in with some more of the soft suede, so you don't get that zebra look. And let's see how that looks. And this is what we're trying to achieve. So you still see the hint of pink, but we're toning it down a bit. Oh, should be doing brown, soft suede. So it's just a tinge of pink in there. Can you still see that? There. So we don't want definite markings like a zebra. We want blended. There we go. You can still see the pink, I'm sure. And that, I think, will look nicely over there with that. All right, let's, don't need that. Okay, now, and I don't know how I came to use this sort of technique for colouring, but I will share the fact that I just got into my stash and just played and realized that there's some gorgeous techniques and that to be explored and gained just from that simple process of playing with your gear. All right, I'm just now going to think how best we go about colouring this. No, not colouring it, shaping and attaching. Oh, and there's our, okay, I know what we'll do. Let's start with our flower. We'll do the little one first. I'll just close these over. And once we've got these attached, then we can certainly move on to the assembly onto the card, onto the beige card, that is. All right, we don't need a lot of glue here in the center, and bearing in mind this is the top here, so I find it easier to do it this way, and then I turn it around. Voila, just like that. And just one more piece, and let's do this here. Now let's turn that around and start to press that down into shape there. All right. Now, and just a bit of glue here in the center. I prefer a darker stamen area. I've never really thought about that until someone asked me, do you like a dark or a light stamen? One of life's questions not been asked of me yet. All right. And importantly, remove that excess of glue so you don't get that happening. I want to get one of those precision glue guns that you can get, and you apply the glue in measured doses. Now this one will go like that, and we'll shape that when we go to put that onto the card. All right, there is our, there is our flower. The floral's done, the accessory coloured, and the leaves. That's it. The only thing we have to do now before assembly is I'm going to emboss this with an embossing folder, and it's going to be the I don't know what it's called. I think it's called Timeless. No, it's not. It's called Timber. It's a Stampin' Up one, but it's a wood grain. Okay, let's get that into the thing. When it goes into the die machine, always move it through the machine at the with the joined area. I'll just go and do that. Now we're at the pointy end of the program, and I've embossed this with the timber embossing folder, and I'm going to attach that beige sheet to the base card. Now I'm going to just advise accordingly. When you glue down embossed cardstock, especially one as granular as this one is with the timber, make sure you glue thoroughly the sides, all sides, so that you don't get lifting and buckling. How do I know that? Because I've fallen into the trap of being Spartan with the adhesive, and I've had lift. So it's important you take the time not to get glue oozing out like this. There we go. But also making sure you get that. Now I need to plug in my camera because I can see I'm losing juice quickly. Okay, how's that? All right. And here is what my point, pushing that all very firmly down so that you don't get lift on those edges. Don't press it down so hard that you're pressing down the emboss pattern. You don't want that, but just enough to give yourself a good adhesive space. Now, the next thing I've done is cut out a piece of this wide open woven gold thread, which is just fantastic. Now, I found the best way to attach that is get some glue dots. And where are they? Glue dots are so hard to find. You just have, oh, there they are. You have to feel them to know where they are, and you may be able to see a little bit of a shine of the dot. There you go. You can see them there. All right. So what I find easiest for this open thread is just to lay down these glue dots. You only need 2 at each end, and like so. Oops. And one here. Oh, now I'm going to do these on an angle, and one here. Why on an angle and not straight up and down? Just because it's different. There you go, like so. Now, by having them on, like, see, it now is fixed. And for all intents and purposes, that will never lift off. Now, we're just going to shape these elements and get them onto the cardstock. So, what I might do first is just shape this one. That's that new formed bud. I'm just going to shape it around the handle of something round. There we go, like that, like so. Now, if you've got a piercing mat, you could have used that, and a stylus, said stylus, said piercing mat, so that you know what I mean. It's been well used, and you just get the element and run the stylus down the center of that. Not the easiest thing when you've got that join of two pieces. There you go, just like that. All right. Oh, keep that up. Now let's attach that to this, like so. I'm going to use a glue dot to start the process. And like so. Let's put the little bit there, and let's get some glue onto the base of this. Now, it needs to be the base, but it needs to be on the front. So here, a bit of glue here. That's it. And like this. So we've got the glue dot there. That will give us instant stickiness, and it will mean the glue will adhere without it falling off whilst it dries. Okay, we've curled these leaves just a little bit, and it will look like that when it goes onto the card. Now, before I put the leaves, before I fold these ones, I'm just going to fold these because they'll have to go on first. And here it is. And how I've done that is just really that approach. So some will fold up, some will fold down, and being quite dramatic in the curl. All right, and they will sit like this. I like to just place things first before I glue them down, especially when I'm shaping them, to make sure I keep that one flat. To make sure they're in the right, they're in the best position. That's what I should be saying. Like so, and then this will go down here like that. This will go there like so, and oops, it might even go like this. There you go, and another one there, like that, and then the leaf will attach itself. Actually, it needs to be up a bit higher. Like that. And then this will attach on this one here. Okay, like that. Let's just get this leaf folded. There we go. This one can fold out, and just a small curl on these ones. All right. Once again, glue dot, just to hold everything into place. Oh, silly sausage me. I need to get these glued down. Here we go, just a bit of glue here, not too much. On the flat parts, and a little bit there. All right, so let's get those into place. All right, one, so the flat parts, and another one down here. more or less parallel with it. Oops. Be careful where you put the glue dots. And a small amount of glue here. There you go. All right. All right. Now, let me just get that off that glue dot safely. There we go. Now, oh dear, that branch is going to glue onto that stem. And we'll do it over it like that. There we go. Lifting that up like so. And taking that down like that. All right, that's good. Let's just make some room here for this. There. All right. And our sentiment can go there like that. So that's hiding all of that, those little areas that were glued. All right. Let's just finish gluing down the stem. Let's get rid of that glue there. Now I'm going to use a couple more glue dots just to get that into place. All right. I'm going to glue dot in here or under here. There we go. And there's another one there. And one more. Actually, I'll put it in here under this leaf, and then that will give security there. All right, let's get our flower bud on. Now the flower bud will sit there so that you've got a full view of. That's good. And I'm going to glue that down because I want to make sure that, there we go. And you don't want to hide too much of the leaves. Voila. And there comes our, okay, I'm going to, I see something there that I'm not liking. Here we go. That's good. And let me just, I want a couple of dimensionals there to lift that up off and give it some height. So that will go there and there and there. All right. Oh, lost my glasses. All right. Now, just, there we go, just there like that. I want to put a couple of butterflies onto that because there's one little area I want to just hide, and it's this one here, if you can see it, where that leaf intersects. Here we go. Crafter's license. to hide and disguise where one sees fit. Oops. I've lost. There we go. Another butterfly. I think when you're doing embellishments, you only need 3. 3 works very well. 2 and 1 more, a little butterfly this time, not a large one. And let's put him up here. Okay. And in placement, I always go with a triangle of the embellishments. All right. There is our beige card. Now, I dare anyone to tell me that beige isn't a great colour. Oops, sorry, I put it right over there. Dare somebody to tell me that beige is not a good colour to have as the base of a card. I will just point out a couple of things. Beige is the base card, but you'll notice I've used white cardstock for every other element except for the sentiment. Why do I use beige here and not beige here? Because with white I can control the colour better than I can with something that's got other tones within it, and it's just been my experience. So all my elements mostly, 99% of them are done in white cardstock, and I use coloured cardstock merely to enhance the elements that are on the front of the page. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you've enjoyed it, but most of all, as always, I hope to see you next time on Michael's Card Art. Thank you.